telling this.
A few years ago, we had a Rainsford, and I called it a million decimal set.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi. What's everybody doing? Good.
So I called it Bob.
Right. I'm sure he didn't go for that, did he? Right.
We're all in different seats. Huh? Change is good.
Right.
President Council, change the seating a little bit. Thank you.
That moment in time. I know you got a dog. You have a cat?
Nope.
Oh,
No, but
no
I have
wonder
it.
she looks so low over here. The chair's down.
How's it going? How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Good.
I have, how you doing, Bob?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Hanging in there.
I got Bill Mark behavior.
Do they call Joe?
What?
Joe.
I didn't hear you.
Minister?
I better behave myself.
Yes.
I guess so.
I have 7 o'clock.
Your Highness?
Does everybody else have 7? Am I close?
I'm gonna keep writing. Well, that's
I call her
all that came out
Vines.
of my printer.
What?
That's all that came out of my printer.
That's all
There
right.
she is.
I'll live. Still in my time.
I have 7 o'clock too. So we'll get this underway.
I suppose I've told you that, man. I'll tell you a lot of stories now. There was this guy had a German accent. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yes.
No, I'm
So
going
is
to.
Steve.
As soon as I
He
meeting.
thought we were going to whip him.
Everybody ready? It's 7 o'clock. I guess it's 7 o'clock.
Shut up.
I'll call the meeting to order. If everyone will please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Be seated. Roll call, please.
Okay, so bear with me as I have to look up and ask, okay? Tom?
Present.
Tammy?
Here.
David?
Here.
Becky? Here.
Yes, I'm here.
And Rebecca? Here. All present.
Thank you very much. Jim was supposed to be here tonight, but I see you're here. We'll open this council meeting with a prayer.
Point of order, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm concerned about the violation between church and state during the having prayer services. You've taken it upon yourself to have prayer in the chambers. Council was not notified, discussed about it, or anything discussed about it, and I'm worried about the violation between church and state.
Okay.
And what is the law on that, sir?
Well, I think you're allowed to have a prayer in a public meeting as long as you extend the ability to have a prayer to all religions. So if you want, you could have, next time you could have a Jewish rabbi come in, you can have someone from the Muslim faith, you can have someone from Shinto, whatever you wanted to do, as long as you open it up to everybody to make the same kind of
Well, the chair never brought it before council.
answer.
And my concern is the violation between church and state, because council has the authority to vote yea or nay, and I'm not sure exactly what all the laws are on that. That's the reason why I'm asking you for a better description if possible. The reason why it does offend me, and the reason why it offends me, is not because I'm not religious. I am very religious. But if they want to open it up for all the children in school to pray, I have no problem with that. But if they don't want to open it up for all the school to pray, I don't think one man should have the authority to stand up and speak on behalf of everybody and say, we're going to have prayer.
Well, that's the mayor is the head of the meeting. I'm saying if you want a more thorough examination of the issue, I'll be happy to do that and have it for you at the next council meeting. But tonight, I can't give you a specific answer except to say that in the Ohio Senate and the House, they open every session with a prayer. Now, do they open it with a Nazarene prayer? Do they open with a Methodist prayer? I think they open it up to multiple doctrines. But again, that's up to council to decide what it wants to do, and the mayor, as far as allowed, I believe it's allowed.
I think what he means is, does council have to approve the prayer for it to be on the agenda, to change the rules and put it on the agenda?
Well, I think that's up to the mayor. If you decide you want to
Well, I mean,
approve
that's
that,
how I took it, because he said,
well, I understand. If you decide you want to vote on it, that's fine. We can vote on it right now to see if we have a prayer.
See, I do not know what the proper procedure is in order to have a prayer in a public political setting.
But if you feel like you don't want a prayer tonight, and you want to take a vote on whether or not we have a prayer, that's fine. So we can do that if the mayor wants to do that.
I just want to make sure it's legal, that we're not violating
We're not violating anything.
But one thing I would like to point out, though, is in last year's rules of council that council voted on was the format of a council meeting, I believe. And as far as I understand, in order to change the format of a council meeting, then it's just an amendment, I believe, to the rules of council that we had passed in at the beginning of 2018, perhaps. I was surprised not to see like rules of council on here, since there are other changes to the agenda.
I say as president, we should go and have the prayer tonight anyway, like Mark said. Yeah, exactly.
If you don't want it.
Exactly.
You're making a motion?
Yep,
Vote.
I'll make that motion to have it.
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank
Hold
you.
on just a second here. I'm trying to write down everybody's comment. Okay. First by David, second by Becky. Okay. Then roll call.
Yes.
Any discussion first? Any more discussion? You got any more discussion with reference to this issue?
I just want to make sure that we are doing things legal. I do not want to have any issues as far as by any violation at all between church and state. I know that
Understood.
last prayer you had that caught everybody totally off guard. We was not even wasn't even brought to us, discussed with us,
Understood.
and there was people in the audience that was offended. I know I personally was offended.
I watched
And
that
only
door.
because if they want to open it up for all the schools and let every child pray,
School's got nothing to do with this council meeting,
it
Tom.
has everything to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
I had a minister approach me and ask me if I would like to open the meeting with a prayer. I said, why not? A lot of other communities do it, the state does it, government does it. Fine.
Well, as long as we're doing it legal, yes. Okay,
Are we doing it legally?
We're doing it legally. We got a vote. We got a motion on the floor, so let's have a vote.
I want to hear the motion, how it's read.
The motion is to allow a prayer tonight at the council meeting. Yes or no?
Roll call.
Tom.
No.
Tammy.
no.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes.
No.
We'll have prayer. I broke the tie.
Yeah, please be excused. I do not want to partake in something I feel is illegal, and I'll reset
Well,
after the prayer's over.
you can be
with.
excused, but
Let me comment on that. I taught school for many years, and if we had children that were anti-prayer groups, like, and I'll give you a name, like Jehovah's Witnesses, didn't want you to do that, and so they were excused from pledging allegiance to the flag. When we came to time to pledge to the flag, I just said, you may leave if you're against that, your religion is against that. So after a time they did, and after a time they would forget and say the pledge with us. So that's just my comment on that. So yes, I would think Tom would be excused.
Thank you.
okay.
When you were listening.
Out of earshot. Your turn, River.
All right. Hey, let's pray together this evening. Lord, we thank you for how much you love us. Lord, I thank you for this council. It's a difficult job to have, and often thankless. I pray that you just lead them, guide them, give them direction, give them wisdom, give them patience. And again, we thank you for this community, and you have truly blessed us with this great community and great people. So help us to lead it well. And we pray this in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay.
You'll find it.
I've moved the visitors' comments up on the agenda because we have a special session called. And I didn't want you to have to sit through an executive session that we're going to have. So here's the rules for 2019. Was supposed to be for 2018. Any resident in the village of Mount Sterling can come to a council meeting and ask a question. There's a book. You sign your name and your address, and you have and the subject you want to talk about, and you have 3 minutes, which any of us will respond. So those are the rules. So, did anybody sign the book and have a question for us tonight? Nobody? No visitors' comments? Okay, so noted. I had to call an executive session, and I apologize to you people in the audience, but this we cannot talk about in public. So I'll request my counsel, the solicitor. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know, I just have a question, do you know how, like, all these other things on the agenda, are they affected by the executive session?
No.
Like, have you guys ever thought about doing all these first and then doing the executive session? Just so that everyone doesn't have to wait for, you know, like everywhere else I cover, they do the executive session last. So then you have the whole meeting and then people can leave, especially if no action's going to be made.
Right.
Like for me, I can follow tomorrow.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
I've never seen it done.
Okay, we'll take that into consideration next time.
Okay.
But we've already got the agenda made up, and I'll need my solicitor, my fiscal officer, and I'll need my water clerk in my office.
Not council.
You got to vote. Let's vote. And the reason we're going into executive session is for personnel matters relating to, I believe, Tyler, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes.
The waste, or the, I guess, Water 1?
Water.
Water 1.
So, do I need a motion to? Yeah, I need a motion for an executive session. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Vote.
Tom?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse us, please. My office.
Could you believe that?
Careful where it's a little bit wet from where I tracked snow in, but maybe my chair will cover it, but it's wet back
I
here just a little
doubt
bit.
I'm going to tell him it wasn't the shoe.
I about knocked you over. This chair don't operate very well.
My seat wet.
See, I came in out of the snow too and didn't do that.
You better not.
No, they don't. They don't have to.
They don't have to, but it's common courtesy to say it's going to be about 15 foot now.
I don't know why they do it like this.
To annoy you.
I just don't think it's nice.
No, it's actually didn't want me.
It isn't.
Because
It is.
everywhere else I've covered, they do it at the end of the meeting so that people can leave.
Okay, don't we beat them up for you?
I came this close.
It's annoying. I hate when they do that.
I came this close to getting out into the rules council.
I mean, why do they do it at the beginning?
I'll throw them out to you.
It's stupid.
You get rid of the hobby.
Yeah.
Out the door they go.
Because I said same thing, like, leave to the end and then, well, they said no,
Well, hopefully they'll change it.
they won't.
You said they tried.
I've tried it before. I came this close to getting it, and then they just said no. I agreed to it one day, and the next day they said no.
No, they never decided. I just do it.
at the Davis yesterday.
You can go over and sit in my chair.
I think that's all right.
You don't want to open my computer up in front of the.
Oh, this is my other work email. I want to respond to wherever you can.
Nice, dude. Let's walk out. Yeah, I'll go talk to you guys.
Because they don't read the meter. I don't think the meter's ever gonna answer, for instance, I looked at the same three bills, because same three bills, they just rotate it every 3 months.
I know they go up and down.
Wonder if this means he got his license now.
Huh?
And
I wonder if this means he got his license.
wand.
Oh, he wants it right.
Well, they were talking before the.
He got it, he was gonna get it.
None of them have a water bill. I mean, they have a water bill, but there's no meters. There's only one meter for the building. How do you figure
Work
that out?
another job besides this.
How do you figure that out?
So,
No, I totally agree with you.
that's why I get frustrated. And I live in Hilliard.
Yeah.
It was 38
That's what-
minutes one way. And I don't mind, I like coming out here and covering it.
They don't.
I just get frustrated.
Complain about picking in and shutting his water off.
I live around the corner. I
It's
don't
fine.
have
You go right ahead. You find out there's no shut off.
Especially when most of the time no action
There's
is
no work
taken.
shut off. And then and there's only one meter.
Or you can follow up the next day.
Or just right before resolution, because if anything can
Upstairs,
happen.
downstairs, all of them.
Because you had to be, this be resolution.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if they can do that, how do we know the rest of this isn't going on?
Well, I had to, got my man to get out of his car, go in our backyard, and then stand over with the gun.
Yeah.
And I thought, I could let the dogs out.
Yeah. Back here, tell them, say, come on, let's tighten up. Like I got camera, they're probably up there watching on camera.
You probably hear me complaining.
I don't know if they have mics, but they probably, I know they got camera back there. And they watch us.
Well, it's supposed to be, streaming live, so yeah, they can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything I haven't told my editor. I didn't say anything bad. I just said the truth.
Same here.
What, are you from the messenger or?
Yeah.
Started that prayer because it's I've never seen them do that.
No, it's
That's the last meeting.
Last meeting.
Oh, they did it at the last one? She was saying the format changed to the agenda. Yeah, I don't remember the format changed. Except for that.
Move the visitor comments up.
Oh, yeah.
Executive session was moved, down to below the visitor comments and does it, same thing.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Yes, I. I did that last time, was it?
I like how we changed,
Blankenship last time.
decided, this is how we're doing public comments going forward, starting right now. But
Yeah, and they didn't move those that way, they don't format up forever, it was just for tonight, right?
Yeah.
With comments, cause didn't he say he just did it because of the executive session?
no, that's where public comments is be from now on.
Are you sure? It is? I thought,
That's what I got from it.
do you know, are public comments gonna stay how they did it tonight, or was it just cause of the executive session?
He said it's gonna be every time.
Yeah, see, I interpreted it as just cause of,
Executive session.
yeah,
Oh.
they didn't wanna make people wait.
He did say that.
I think it's kind of the whole thing is we're on them. If I have something I want to say about something they say about all this stuff here, we can't even say it because it's
I think this one was meaning like outside the meeting, any problems you have on the streets or things like that. I think.
Like I said, I want to say something about this.
Talk about it. I don't think.
Says I'm here.
Depending on how long it is, the round
The law firm decided it's not, it's different. I've watched.
Urban times.
Oh, I didn't hear what it was like an hour.
Yeah, I did. Figured it out. That's why I did.
He actually says.
So it was like just me and you.
That's just because people challenge you. Does everybody need to?
She's been this
I
way.
covered Livingston School for the person last week. They didn't have one, but that's what they have.
This council has done that since for as long as I've been here. I moved in the village in 95. What's that?
Ask them how long they're gonna be.
Yeah, you want me to get in trouble. Are you on a deadline or you just want to go home?
When I go home, I work another job. So I came home, I got home, made my daughter dinner, got her, my husband dinner, and then I came here. It's like 40 minutes. I look
Maybe 21 meetings a year.
30.
It's probably not 21 years. January's not gonna have one. Like it's in the head.
I don't so try anymore, unless I'm like traveling for work, then I'll like tell them, okay, or like if my daughter did something, but most of the time I have to be here. Like,
That's wrong.
don't work.
Hey, you guys build snowman this weekend? You're snow women? Got any snow angels?
Oh yeah, I did.
You did?
My daughter, yeah. We had fun.
We had our neighbors behind us making a little snow fort, kind of done in a U, and
Yeah.
I'm going,
They're waiting on you to come out.
I don't think so.
Now, when I was a little children, I never done anything like that.
Oh, we did.
Throw snowballs at the neighbors? Not me.
Never, never.
Do you have
Accidentally on
kids?
purpose hit a car.
Yeah,
Do you have kids?
Is that confession?
Yeah, I got one.
Is that confession?
He's
Because I remember some of that happened.
no, it wasn't incidentally.
I was like, no, you don't remember that because it wasn't there.
Now, the first trip, yeah, that was me.
The first, yeah, I still love that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I still love that.
It's gotta be good.
We took fishing string and tied it to a purse. And then today, they got one traffic light. So we throw that purse out by the side of the traffic light. You'd be surprised how many greedy people want that.
Yeah.
As soon as they go to pick it up, we take off with that fishing line.
all made about pee their pants.
You know, put it on Bill.
Yeah.
They send deputies like me to find the unruly juveniles.
Yeah, I did it on Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck Reed, one of the big wigs at the sheriff's office. I got him. He just stood up and laughed. Most people thought it was funny, but some
Good
people-
couples, you know.
Yeah, they
Yeah, yeah.
grab the purse and take off down the road and they slam on their brakes and throw the purse down. So we never put any nasty stuff.
How did it snow in there?
Yeah, that's dog food.
Yeah, we never done that. Because we use it the next time.
You ever like glue like money like to the ground or whatever?
Yeah.
Like a glue
We
gun
did it
and watch
once.
people try to get it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I had never done it. I actually fell for it. At the fair, I fell for it and the people were laughing. They just sat there. It was people.
You tried to pick it up?
It was a quarter. I tried to pick it up. It was glued and the people must have done it and one of the food things expected to scare people laughing. I just walked away. Didn't even look.
You ever tried putting dog crap in it?
No, because we wanted to use it. Back then, purses were not even, you couldn't get a whole lot of purses.
Well, back when I was young, a lot of them got figured out, so.
Yeah. I think when I retire, my entertainment's going to be run around to the nursing homes and wax the steps. And then sit and watch.
Break
We're still on TV.
By then, I'll probably be the one to go down the steps.
It'd probably be me.
Jack, what grade's your son in now?
He is a sophomore at Ohio State.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't stay babies very long.
I gotta ask, what do you think about all the changes up there?
Where?
Ohio State.
I don't know yet. I think they should have went on a mission to find a new head coach instead of just saying, you're the man. Because you did a 3-game stint for them.
Yeah.
When the foundation was built, all you had to do was just say, good luck. And they knew what to do.
Now, if it works out, he's young enough, he'll be there for a while.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
But if he loses 5 games, they're going to be going for his head.
They said it's gonna be, to be judged by, next November 30th, Michigan.
Yeah. That's football, ladies.
So think about I was just thinking about those 3 games that he did win. He didn't win by a great big margin or nothing either. So it's kind of concerning.
Yeah, why you ask me? Why you ask them? They know more than I do.
I couldn't see that,
You guys are mean.
It's a rough crowd. This is the good crowd. I hope it does work out.
But that's after Michigan, so.
Yeah, defensive focus. They have a good defense.
Then we are on defense.
Our defense would use the more, so.
Yeah. But that game, where did that offense come from?
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that?
Really? That's funny, they hired Madison and Washington from Michigan. I thought maybe they'd gotten fired or something, but they just hired them away from them.
They got tired of losing to Ohio State, so they might as well come to Ohio State.
I read that from Detroit Free Press because they always have stuff about Ohio State and Michigan on it. And, they were moving on yesterday about Ohio State, not only because they got that one defense and then they won.
Right.
Well, then they turn around and they hired
Georgia's supposed to be, I haven't seen him play, so I don't know, but he's supposed to be the real deal.
Oh, yeah. I just wondered why Georgia didn't use the board. What is from him? Is he a junior or is he graduate?
I think he's got one more year.
Does he?
Yeah, that's why he transferred.
That's why he transferred.
This has been going on long now.
Yeah.
Go on.
That's my second time.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
7:30 is my bedtime.
What time did they go up?
Huh?
What time did they go up?
They didn't even give that.
I'm gonna look downstairs usually every turn.
This is what they say, they're gonna come back and they're like, no decision's gonna be made.
I was gonna say, 'cause I can smoke a cigarette in about 3 minutes, so.
Was that cold?
You're sometimes faster.
Yeah.
There ain't no ashes, it's one flip. Bob, did you see the name tags up here?
I noticed these ones aren't up yet.
Yeah, they are.
We should be.
Oh, they're on the picture themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you think the board's gonna stay like that, split like that on those things? When it's,
I don't know.
33?
This is what it is.
I know that thing there because my dad painted that one.
And it's got his name. Better have the right name on it. Yeah.
He paints that the morning the old 5 and 9 burnt down here on the corner. Where Raps is. He paints that paint in the morning it burned down. So if you look at the date on there, that's when the 5 and 9 burned.
And he painted that one too?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
There it says, Town Hall painted by Gerald Cooper.
That's what it says.
Well, I knew he painted that one. Maybe he did paint it and you didn't know.
That's what it's possible. I don't remember ever seeing that one.
I remember a tree being on the other side of it.
There had never been a tree on the other side. That's always been the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Brody, he sat in front of the, every Sunday morning, he'd go down and sit in front of the 5 and 9 and paint it from across the street.
Must not have been any traffic, because there've been a lot of cars.
On Sunday morning, right at church, yeah.
I was standing on the opposite corner while it was burning.
Was it?
About half an hour further, was standing out there.
It's being painted, that's all. I didn't get you.
You were what, about a sophomore, freshman?
Who does it paint?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Burnt in 82? Yeah. Was it 82 that burnt? Or 80?
I had stopped to think, because that's the reason I ran for council, because it's going to rejuvenate or restore the opera house. I wanted to be involved in it, so I ran for council. I won, then it burnt down between, because I took the oath down there in that little house next to the bank.
So they were talking about destroying the opera house?
They were
And
on
then burn
rebranding.
down?
No, they were gonna rebuild it.
Yeah, it was the top,
Oh.
yeah, the top floor was a nice opera house.
The guy
So we
that,
didn't want to redo it?
there was a guy that came down and went in and drew blueprints of the whole building, measured everything.
Yeah.
So how did it burn down? What happened?
Electrical.
Where was it? Was it across the street?
Yeah, across.
That was the police department.
Yeah.
Town hall, police department, opera house,
Yeah, fire department.
fire department.
Fire department, yeah, that's fire bay there on the side.
That's pretty cool.
It was a neat old building.
Yeah, it was. office here. It's like a building, it had different apartments.
Actually, there's 3 of them out there. Just tear it down.
No, they burnt it. Yeah, they burnt it.
You got Frank's stuff. Well, while we're talking about fires, don't forget the pet store.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reptile store more than anything.
Yep.
I hear 'em.
There she is. There she is. There she is. There she is. There he is.
I'll wait till we'll-
It's a little bit cold out here.
Four-wheel drive will destroy the way it moves.
See that all dried up while you were gone.
Yep.
Oh, I apologize for that, but
See, I think what it is when I walk through the snow,
I think I need a motion to
I kind of shuffle
back
my
in the
feet
regular
and they're sticking on
council
top of it,
meeting.
but I haven't done that.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second.
please.
Okay, Tammy
Thank you.
first.
Yeah.
And roll call.
Yes, please.
Tom,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Lowell,
Yes.
and Rebecca.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, before you have the minutes of the council meeting from December 10th, the special council meeting December 14th, special council meeting on December 17th, and a special council meeting on the 18th. And you have before you a finance work session on December 18th, special council meeting on the 19th. Geez, we were meeting crazy, wasn't we? Do I do those separately, or can I
well, can I-
combine those?
Okay, so, if I can, may I speak? Okay. So it was, in efforts with, cleaning our best practices through the state auditors, he noticed that a lot of my minutes have a lot of information in it. And, he recommended that, that the mayor would take a motion to accept it, get a second, I do a roll call, and then you guys would sign your names to the side of it. So instead of motioning for each report, it shows at the top that you're accepting, acceptance of the minutes that were presented for council meeting, and I've listed those here, with a motion first and second, and then a roll call, and then your guys' signatures.
Does everybody understand that? That was easy.
Okay. And I've done that also with the financial reports as well.
We can also do that with the minutes of the meetings.
Yes.
So you want that kind of a motion?
Yeah, it would be first.
I will give you one motion then to accept the minutes
Okay.
of the meetings, 10th of December, 14th of December, 17th, and 18th, and 2 meetings on the 18th and 19th. I'll give you one motion
Yes.
accepting those.
Thank you. I need 1 second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call.
Okay, and apologize, I didn't know the seating part here, so just a second. I just want to make sure I have this. Okay, so Tom,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Lowell,
Yes?
and Rebecca.
Yes.
Okay, and I will pass this around, if you guys could sign that, and then I can return it. Okay.
That leads us into department reports. Sheriff Jackie Deal.
I have no report.
He has no report. Law Director, Mark Pitstick.
Thank you, Mayor. We have had a records request from a individual, and what we've done is the record request wanted certain documents relating to utility bills which are not allowed by the sunshine laws. The sunshine laws are made up of a law that says you're entitled to everything except if there's an absolute exception to that, to the rule. And in this case, there was an exception. However, the remaining request, we would like to be able to answer as quickly as possible. However, because of the amount of work that Courtney has and Misty, they have not been able to meet that requirement. I have had a chance to talk to Courtney and Misty about the amount of time it's going to take, and it's my understanding in talking to them that they feel it's going to be 20 hours, and that's going to be overtime. So what we need to do is we need to decide on how we're going to answer that, because it changes the budget. I think you're close to $30 an hour on the overtime. And so you also have the fiscal emergency situation. You have the finance commission that comes down here that has to approve the layout of this money. So all of these things have to be taken into consideration before we can answer or complete the records request. So I don't know the individual, but that has to be done. So we need to work on that as quickly as we can to come up with the necessary funds in order to allow the overtime to take place to answer this records request in a timely manner. Now, a timely manner can be up to 30 days or more, given the financial situation that the village finds itself. So that's pretty much my report. So we need to work on this. Do you have anything to add to that?
I did, and I didn't want to interrupt you. Okay, so part of the records request, because it is public record, it did state that there was recordings that were asked. So meaning that recordings of like videotape. So back in 2015 is where part of these what they're requesting is 2015. They were not imaged correctly. According to the departments that I spoke with, that actually was handling the recordings at the time. So they have to be re-imaged, is from what I understand. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Dill. They were VH tests or tapes that were used or whatever.
They weren't VHS. They were put on DVDs, but the format they're in, no DVD player can read them.
Yeah.
They have to be reformatted and redone that way.
Yeah. So again, that's going to take additional monies and additional times, because we have to find a place. And again, this is the first time I've had to deal with a image issue. So that will have to be, again, an additional cost of if they can image those onto those DVDs or not. That's what I'm looking into. But I also noticed that on the website, on mtsterling.org, the minutes are available. So I did reply back to the person that had requested the record to see if that was something that they were interested in looking at instead of the recordings. So the minutes also are a recording of the meeting and the motions that were taken, and obviously the what happened during that meeting. So I'm waiting for that as well. And then most of my other public records requests are dependent on other areas, like the mayor and with Misty as well. So it's a little bit out of my control of the time frames and what's allowed. As most of you know, I was hospitalized, a week or so ago, and I've had 2 surgeries since. So a lot of my work has been piled up, and I didn't have backup. So a lot of my stuff during my hospitalization and my 2 surgeries that were unexpected couldn't have happened at a worse time. And unfortunately, I'll still have appointments that I'll need to attend, doctor's appointments. And I did give this to the state auditors to see if there is some additional kind of help that they can support for me, if there's somebody else that they can give to me. And unfortunately, they want me to perform my duties and my daily duties. And a lot of my stuff is dependent on the finances of the village, year-end balancing, monthly balancing, my budgets and things. So it's really put a damper in my job duties. And not budgeting, because I don't have in our budget that was approved for overtime. So it was recommended that this has to be done prior to all of my daily responsibilities from the auditors.
But I want to emphasize that there has to be overtime. This has to be done after their primary duties have been accomplished. They can't just stop everything that they're doing and answer a records request. It just doesn't work that way. The finances are too important, the water bills are too important, and there's only 2 of them. So if they have to work, they have to come in here during the weekend and prepare the records request. And that is overtime. So council will have to decide on how it wants to pay the overtime and get it approved through the
Commission, State Commission?
State Commission.
But it's not a problem, it's just a problem of 2015. And again, you know, I'm looking at most council members that have seen the minutes. They're in despair. I mean, you know, half of them are missing. So, you know, 2015 is something that I wasn't here, nor were most of the administration wasn't here during those times. So, you know, we have no problem with doing it, but it's been asked that, you know, this has to be brought to council just because of the issue.
For the year 2015, what is available? Everything?
Yeah, the minutes are available.
All right.
But it's not recordings, but the
Okay.
person had asked for recordings. But 2015 is available on our website. So that was something that I had offered to that person, and also a reply back to the request.
But since we don't have them the way they want them, can that suffice?
They ask for them and we have them.
Yeah.
If you don't,
but we'll have to find out that we don't.
if you don't have them, then they have to take what we have.
They have to take what
All
we
right.
have. The other issue you have is at what cost do you have in transferring these or reformatting these DVDs? I don't know what that cost is going to be, but the person who's requesting that would have some responsibility for payment
Yes.
of the cost to having these DVDs prepared. I don't know what that is.
So that's my next question. Every municipality has has what they call public records request cost.
Right.
And what they're asking is, you know, again, I don't want to pull this information without giving this person how much the cost is going to be. I don't think that's right. I think they should know up front how much it's going to cost, and we need to get a collective thought and a collective amount to see how much that would be. So in seeing that, I did look through the, you know, and again, I haven't brought this to Mark's attention, but I can't find anything that says what the cost would be. So that's going to be another question of council to say, okay, is it $5 cents per page? You know, is there something that could protect through the Sunshine Law or the ORC that says that you guys just make a collective amount? I mean, that part I don't know.
And I think on the Attorney General's website there is a sample public record request that does have some amounts in there, just that you can use maybe as a framework.
That's right. So that's going to be something that has to be brought to council, and how much that's going to cost.
Have we ever had a records policy in place?
Policy.
Yes.
You know,
we have
with
one.
Okay.
Yes. But the
But
thing
is it
about
sufficient?
yeah, the thing about it is there's a policy, but I don't see where the resolution shows in an amount. But again, back in 2015, the books are in despair, and unfortunately there probably was, but I just don't have a signed contract, because it wouldn't be fair to give it to that person and say, well, this is what we think the policy is, when there's nothing that's been signed. I don't have that proof. Again, everything was hard copied, and I hate to say it, but even the audit had found it that, you know, records were unauditable because the person that was doing the job did not take very good keep of those. So again, that was all replied back to the person that had requested it, but these are some of the questions that I had told them that I would get to council and ask those questions. Again, I don't know what the response will be, but I would like to get back to them as soon as I can in regards to the request, because request can't be denied, like Pitt Stick said. It cannot be denied unless there is a shall not request, you know, clause in there, and I would like to get that taken care of.
That's all I have.
That's all I have on that.
So, what am I looking for? Am I looking for a motion to, do we have any idea of how much money this request is going to cost us? Do we have any idea of amount of money? Huh? You said something
We
about
estimate
20 hours?
20 hours at $30 an hour.
Well, it may take 30 hours.
It may. We don't know.
But again,
30
please
bucks
take
an
note
hour?
That the general fund is where I come out of, and that's under the physical emergency. So please be conscious of that. So that has to change the budget, and I'll go back to the state and tell them that that's been decided to allow that, and it has to go through the commission because that's not been budgeted. My budget doesn't have overtime in it.
Okay, comments from council.
I mean, the thing is, anybody can ask for the records request. And no matter how many they ask for, we got a
We're gonna
records
give 'em
request
to 'em.
policy.
Yep,
We are to give them to them.
Unless there's an exception.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
Now, like what Mrs. Burns was talking about, 5 cents a page is what we have on file. Now, whether that's been adopted by council, we don't have any way of knowing. But
Right.
5 cents per page is where we're at. The problem you have here is we have electronic recordings. The electronic recordings take more time and effort. We don't even know how much it's going to cost to have these transcribed. So
Yeah,
it could be
that's
$20, it could be $20
problem.
of DVD, it could be $3 a DVD.
I'm trying to remember back in, I think it was around 12 or 13, I got a couple copies, and I don't know what they had to go through to get copies of the videotapes at council meetings, but I'm trying to remember if it was like $10 or $15 per, I think it was a VHS I got format, but I can't remember how much it was back then even.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't have any.
And that's not why we have it on YouTube, so it's out there at any time.
Makes
at
it a lot
anybody's
easier.
camera, instead of on recordings. 'cause
Long
they-
time since VHS tapes.
Jack, do you remember when we made copies, how much it cost us then?
The only thing I can remember is that there was a guy in town that would reformat them for the village after the meeting. And he got too expensive, so they stopped having him do them.
Oh.
And I don't know who the guy is. I'm assuming it was Karen Bowers' dad.
I think that's what it was. Yes.
I think
it was.
I'm assuming it was. But I think he just got too expensive and they stopped.
I remember that's who it was.
Was that who it was?
Yes.
All right, so you can check with him, see if he's still willing to do it.
I don't know if he's still living or not.
There's nothing to do.
I'm not sure he's.
Pardon?
I'm not sure he's even in town now.
No, we don't have to vote on anything.
Yesterday, I think it was Friday, he came in.
Okay, you've seen it now.
Okay, so that everybody understands the law director's report. Any more questions about that? If not, we're going to move to the utilities clerk, Misty Vance.
Okay, I don't have too much. I don't want to waste time here. I just have a few comments about the last meeting that I was not in attendance for. Before I get to that, I checked on the amount of payments and the number of payments that I received in. I'm still keying them in right before the meeting, but we're near 400 payments for the month already, and it's close to 70,000. So we still have a few hundred payments to come in. So I'll have a more accurate figure for the month at the next meeting, so that way we can compare it to what it was. Rate increases.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a better idea.
Very good.
What we're looking at.
Okay.
I have a question on that. Since we get the same information through Courtney and the deposits of the water department, can that relieve Misty of doing it, because that's more work for her? And it's repetitious. I think it's just repetitious.
Well, she's giving us up to a date of what she's brought in, and give us some idea of what's left out there, and then she gives us the complete report.
I agree with you
Water
on
and
that,
sewage.
but it's still, Courtney can flip it out in a matter of minutes.
Well,
and if we gave her a date and wanted it, so
Okay.
I'm just trying to save money. That's an example I'm saving.
Okay. Very good. Understood. Yes, ma'am.
You just let
She's
me know what
busy.
to do. I'll-
Okay, we will.
It might save some time too in here. Okay, so the few questions I have, like I said, I was absent the last meeting, and it's questions that was brought to me by our residents. I mean, we've had we're just under the microscope, and I'm kind of disappointed. I don't know if my feelings were hurt or disappointed in the council members that didn't answer these questions. The first one was regarding my overtime, or the question by I think it was Mr. Van Sickle, Tammy's husband, had asked about the overtime, if I get overtime or not. That should have clearly been answered because there's 3 of you. I know, I think it's Tammy, Rebecca, and you, Dave, that approve my timesheet every 2 weeks. So, and if I'm wrong on any of this, that it did get answered, I apologize. Just throw something at me. But that should have been answered. It's clearly no, I get no overtime. I've not ever asked for it. I don't expect it when I work over. It's just to try to complete some things that need to be completed. You know, these last couple weeks, I probably couldn't work enough hours to return these calls. I mean, it can't be done by one person, so I apologize to the residents that haven't had their calls returned this week. But regarding my overtime, I get none. When I look back on this timesheets that you approved, there were, 98 hours, 88, 93, and I was paid 80. Just to clarify to the residents that I don't get it, I don't ask for it. I think that should have been answered clearly to them, because what you don't realize at that window, there's a lot of backlash that we get and we see that I hear, oh, the rates are going up because you're overtime. Could it not have been addressed more clearly? I don't understand that. Also on that, I guess I should move to another comment or question. I don't know if it's a comment or question need answered. I feel like it should have been answered clearly. And again, it was by Mr. Van Sickle about, I see the lights are off. Is there overtime being made? When the mayor and I am in the workplace in here working. Yes, Steve.
First of all, don't look at me when you're speaking to him, okay? Because I would not.
I'm speaking to
I mean, when you're just looking at me, because I do not.
What husband looks like to you.
I do not whatsoever tell or listen to any of my family members. Ronnie worked here. Sarah has said some things. I am not going to speak up to if it's my family member out here. I'm backing out. It's up to if another council member wants to. That's fine. In our personal lives, did I go home and say something on what the council meeting was said? Yes, I did. I will not say in our personal lives what I did and did not say when I got home. But to be in a council meeting and for a family member of mine to stand up and start saying something, I'm not going to be the council member to stand here and say something back. I'm going to abstain from the family thing. Now, if some other council member wanted to say something, that's up to them. Or if you wanted to, Billy wanted to, anybody. That's all. I am not going to address and put myself, just like I didn't when my son worked for the village. I abstained from all that. Family from council.
But you are on finance and you see my timesheet. Whether
during a council meeting,
your husband, I feel like it should have been addressed. That's your job. You could separate the two, but that should have been answered by one of you 3. And I strongly.
Now I'm telling you why I did not answer.
Okay, well, you don't need an explanation to me. It's the people that I think need an explanation, because it's your duty to answer things like that. You approve my timesheet. You should have clearly said that she doesn't get paid, but I'm not accusing you of anything. It needs brought up, because these are questions I get from the outside, from the people I serve. And so I shouldn't have to explain it over and over to people.
Like I said, during a council meeting, I'm not going to.
The next question about the lights off. There's not been one time that I've been here and there's been no lights on. I have a computer light. I can see clearly, and if he wants to lend his help to me, I totally accept it. If any of you want to help, I accept it. Please, and I thank you for helping, Becky. That's nice. Not one time. That should have never been insinuated. I'm not worried about my feelings, but it can hurt hurt him or whoever else.
First of all, I think some conclusions with accusation was jumped to out of order, because we have seen in the past employees park their vehicles and be gone like they're working. Now, I'm not defending him. You got a question or a problem with him, please, by all means. Am I saying you get paid for overtime? No, you do not.
Tammy, this is things that I think
I'm saying why I didn't speak up on your behalf.
Okay.
You're asking why one of us three did not speak up on your behalf.
Okay.
This is why I didn't. Because that's a family member. And I am completely separating myself from that. I'm not going to stand here and defend a family member or criticize a family member in public. I'm just saying that's why I didn't speak up.
Yourself from the family and a work job, you signed the timesheet, you could have said something about that.
What I'd say personally when I got home is different.
Personal.
I'm telling you why I didn't.
Okay, may I go on? So that, I just feel like I've done nothing but help. I had the utmost respect, especially for the president of the council. I had respect for you, and I just feel like that should have been addressed. All of you have the code. If anybody else would have thought anything was going on that wasn't work related, you have the code. Come in anytime. That's always welcome. I'm sure that's why you have the code. It's your job to check on it. So maybe no one else had those questions. I'm not sure.
Mitzi, you do a lot of hard work though. I've been in the office at times and you'll be working extra hours and sorting bills and getting stuff ready, and you do a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The last thing that I wanted to mention was a letter. This letter, I don't understand why it's brought up again. This letter was by Tom. You're aware what it says, and so is everybody else, because it is now posted on Facebook. And when you brought me this complaint, there's some things on here that wasn't factual. It was that I called, this person had called. Okay, there's nothing on here except for one message. There's a message left, correct? And it said on here, this resident said messages was left. I said messages or message. And you go, I don't know, change it to message. I said, no, I'm not going to touch something you wrote. So therefore you changed it. By the time you brought that into my office on that Tuesday, I had already taken care of it. It was like 8:27 to be exact. I already talked to that customer. He was thrilled, no issue, nothing. It was a done deal. That's just one of, I don't know, 125 questions or calls that I get. I already took care of that. It was no big deal. And so there's mention that you wanted to put it, it was to be put in my employee file. Well, for one, I didn't sign it. I didn't understand that part about putting it in a file. But so then Mr. Martin writes, this is BS. Everybody knows what he wrote. Like I said, it's out on Facebook. So I'm not understanding why it was brought up again. This was done like months and months ago. It was brought up again, thought it was finished, brought up again.
You have to talk to the public about that.
To me, it seems like somebody with too much time on their hands is bringing up something. Is it the fact that, is it with me? Is it with him? What is the issue with this letter? Is it done? Because it's embarrassing.
Well, I'm sorry that it's embarrassing, but no, that's the one where the mayor said this is BS, correct?
Yes, everybody read it.
And I went ahead and everything I had to say, I said publicly here in this chambers to that man right there, because that man left that in my mailbox. Now that is a complaint that I took from that resident.
Yes, and it was taken care of.
Yes, ma'am. And I wrote down on there, and yes, I said this is, if memory serves me correct, this is true and factual. What that means is this is exactly what that man told me. That's all I can do. Is okay, you read this, and is this exactly what you're saying? Yes, sir, it is. Okay, now if memory serves me correct, I think he signed that, but I'm not going to swear to that. Okay?
No,
but anyway, so I brought it here, and there was nobody here. I follow through when somebody gives me a complaint.
Okay,
I put it on the door.
I was here.
And well, yeah, I did talk to you about that.
Yes,
As a matter of fact, I did. And then I put one on the door. I think the mayor's door and one on Courtney's door. And then when I came back, I forget what the time frame was, and I found it in my mailbox. And then I addressed the mayor and said, is this your answer to this resident? That is a complaint from a resident. And he came to me. I did not go to him.
was not to the resident, it was to you when you told me, put this in your file. This should go in your employee file. That's
No, I never, no.
what that is. Tom, this is what we talked about in the state factual. It wasn't factual because you sit there and told me to change it.
That is exactly why. I do not recall telling you to change anything. No.
Yeah.
I recall that. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't say anything. What I'm saying is I had a conversation with this man right here in this chambers, and I asked that man, is this what you want me to tell this resident? And he said, yes. Now, I can line up a bunch of people, and some of which are in here.
Because my point is, why was it brought up again at the last meeting?
That I do not know
Why
of.
was it put on Facebook?
That is a public document.
So my point is, I feel like there's, and I'm going to shut up after this because I've taken too much of their time up. We're here to serve people. It doesn't need to go on and on and on and on. This gentleman was thrilled. I called him back before he got in here. So I just don't understand why it keeps going on. Like, is it to
That's my question.
embarrass me more to him?
I don't know. I don't know. You said that's on Facebook? You said that's on Facebook? That don't surprise me none. I'm not on Facebook. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sorry. It's
okay.
Let me.
Yeah, I don't deny it. I do not deny taking the report.
We're done. All right. That letter was written. It was introduced to me. I asked her about it. She said, I took care of that. But he wants to put this in my file. Council doesn't write letters for my employees' files. I write letters.
That is not a letter.
I write letters. You people do not write letters, and I put them in my employees' files.
Sir, that was a report that I took from a resident in this village who had a complaint because he could not get a hold of anybody, and I did my job, my due diligence.
And you brought it to me.
I brought it exactly
in
that.
writing.
And you gave it back to me. Well, you put it in my mailbox and said, this is BS.
Because I checked with her.
Okay.
I said, was this taken care of? Yes. I said, then the letter goes in the trash.
Point of order, sir. Point of order. The mayor's getting angry because I'm trying to do my due diligence.
Angry.
What can be done about this? Yeah, I am slowing down right now. Okay, I am a council member here, and I'm trying to do my job, and this man has anger issues because I'm doing my due diligence. What can we do about this?
I got a smile on my face. I said that if any letters go in my employees' files, I write them. Period.
That's not a letter. That is a report.
You gave me the report. I took care of it.
Nothing
is going in her
I have
file.
a problem right now.
Her
I'm
file.
tired of the anger issues, and now I'm starting to feel like I'm being threatened.
No.
Now I want something done now.
I'm not mad.
I want
I'm
something
happy.
done.
Okay, there's nothing going on. Everybody's calmed down.
There's nothing going on.
No.
Did you guys perceive a threat just now?
Tom.
I did.
You're the only one. You're the only one standing up
Yes,
and
I'm
being
getting
loud.
upset because
Just
I'm tired
sit
of
down.
making all these
Sit
reports and turning them in just so they can get tossed off to the side and then him getting yelling at me. I'm doing my job.
Sit down and calm down.
No, I'm not. I want this dealt with. I'm tired of the anger issues.
It sounds like you have an anger issue.
Noted on the record. Noted on the record.
Okay, now what about my health and well-being? Because I'm taking this because of his anger issues. This is a continuous situation that's been going on in this chambers, and it's going to have to stop.
I understand what you're saying. It's duly noted.
He's going to remain on the chair?
He's going to remain on the chair.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. Take your anger issues, go elsewhere. I'm going to sit down out there, and I'm going to take the rest of the night off. I'll be back at another council meeting. Somebody's got to stand up for the people.
Now, I feel like Donald Trump at the United Nations building. I wasn't expecting that. Do we make a motion, or do we keep going? Okay. All right. Are you finished with your report?
I just want to make sure nobody had any more questions about this so we could drop it forever. That's all. So it didn't have to be brought up over and over 4 months later. That's all.
Okay. Everybody done?
Yes. Go
All right.
4 months later.
That will bring village administrator. Oh, we don't have a village administrator.
No, you have village administration.
Yes. I almost said the bad word. That will bring up the fiscal officer, village administration Clerk of Council report.
Yes.
Courtney Bricker.
Okay. And as most of you guys know, you know, again, I've been recently sick, so apologize for, you know, getting things that have been piled up, and it's going to take me a while to kind of get back into making sure that I get the reports and things like that done. So I apologize up front. I also wanted to give an update about the engineering, you know, project that was done down at the sewer plant by the county, which we refer to as a Crawford Ditch. It is completed and it is done. Again, it's been a while since we've had a last meeting. I think it was December 10th. So it has been taken care of, and that in the springtime they will come back and grade it, because as you can tell, it is kind of, you know, there's a lot of dirt and stuff that needs to be, you know, smoothed out and evened out. And they'll be back in the springtime to help grade that as it will be settling. I wanted to thank the employees for the snow removal. I also wanted to thank our mayor for also getting out there and putting his time in both days, Saturdays and Sunday.
Good
and
job.
Again, we have a mayor behind the wheel of, you know, village equipment trying to remove the snow. There was a lot. I think I seen that there was a lot. I think it was about, what, 7 inches, I think one person posted on Facebook. And, you know, with the slow staff, or the low staff that we have, we only have 3 employees. And one of those was a mechanic that was brought in to be a mechanic, and, you know, with no experience in snow removal. So there was a lot of good rapport, but there's a lot of bad. And I think we all have room for improvement. I don't think, you know, we sit up here and say, oh, you know, we did a wonderful job, because there were people, you know, you can't make everybody happy, but I do feel that we had a force out that started at 10 in the morning on Saturday. That included Billy, and tried to do shifts, because as the snow was coming down, it was 14 hours straight. So we only have 3 people, so I can't put all of them on one shift and then everybody get tired and not help the residents, you know, 24/7. So we have a person that stayed until 2 o'clock that Sunday morning, and then we had another shift, including the mayor as well, and another employee that came in to clean up some more on yesterday, and then we were out again today. So I try to keep everybody updated on the village Facebook if there was any, you know, snow emergencies, or to kind of let you guys know. But I do want to remind everyone is that I know that not all sides of the roads have those snow emergency signs. But if there is 2 inches or more snow, then you cannot park there. Okay, so I know there was, you know, I was kind of retracting them on Facebook. So again, I welcome anybody on Facebook to reach out to me, you know, through my personal Facebook page, which a lot of people have, and trying to make sure that we get some of those alleys. In the past, the alleys have never been plowed. They waited until the next business day. I and myself and the mayor believe that that's not true. Everybody, no matter if you're in an alley, on the main drag, on 56, on 62, that gets ODOT coming through there, I think it's important for everybody to have, you know, if there are safety issues, if there are people that are, you know, in need of medical assistance, that they do get, you know, their alleys plowed. So again, I welcome everybody. Everybody's been great. They've kind of reached out to me and, you know, let me know, hey, this alley needs to be cleaned up a little bit, so we'll get there. Again, we're not saying we're perfect. You know, we have low staff, and, you know, everybody's trying to, you know, pitch in and you know, help in any way they can. Also, as well as you guys know, the water increase, a lot of people are seeing that effect this month. So I know I've been spit on, cussed at. I had 50 messages while I was on surgery to come back to, and, you know, and hear the residents. You know, I want to hear them, no matter if it's good or bad. I mean, that's our job, I feel. I feel, you know, that is my job. You know, I may not have the title, but I feel like, you know, who else is going to answer it? You know, and I'm okay with that. I am. I'm okay with that. I can help them. I will help every resident here. And, you know, I seen Becky that came in and kind of made the front for Misty. Misty, it was horrible. I mean, I don't know what to say. But I know that, you know, we're all here and we're all a team and we're all going to work together. And I still feel strongly about that. So again, I know I do through my personal Facebook. If people have questions about their water bills, I thank you, and I appreciate you know, the kind people that have come in and seen the lines out there, and you know, people that spit in my face, and that literally, and that's okay. You know, that's okay, because everybody has an opportunity. Everybody has a chance to ask a question, and you know, we're here. So again, thank you, Misty. You know, thanks to the mayor that had taken phone calls, because sometimes you need a breather a little bit. But we're going to work through it. So my next thing is, you know, I'm looking in and saving, you know, ways to save additional monies for the sewer and the water plant. And currently we go through Massite, which does our testing for our sewer plant, for our daily testing. And they're based out of Plain City. I found a place out of Courthouse that's called Spectrum. Believe it or not, it's not a huge company. But they also do testing. So I have quotes that I had gotten before my leave that they had sent to me, and I want to compare to make sure that we get the same testing that we currently are getting through Massai that we can get from them, because they're right down the street from us. So I hope that we can get to that point, because you know, the testing is very, very expensive, and you know, I think that's an additional way that we can save in those funds. So I'll be presenting hopefully a good report on that to council once I receive that. I also want to report that Wellers came out in efforts to give an additional training to Tyler on the HVAC system at the water plant. So I feel that there is probably some cost savings in that, understanding how to control the temperatures. Because you know, what's in the inside of the operating facility, in the operational part of it, I feel that you know, we could go down a few degrees. Now it's cold in there, you know, but nobody's, you know, in there all day. And you know, we've definitely cut back on the cost of that, because as winter comes, you know, we're not going to have that facility, you know, 75, 80 degrees in there. So I had them come down and do some training that was free. We got that worked out. Johnson Controls came down and, you know, maintenanced it, because it's been a year since it's been in operation, and unfortunately, with some of the equipment that's over there, it has to be maintained. And I did get a free slide on that. They did it for free. So in understanding our circumstances and our situations here, they were willing to give it free to us again. And, you know, I'm grateful for that. And, you know, hopefully, you know, we can budget that for next year. So we've already gotten that taken care of this year, which is great. So that was all my report on that. I know it's been a long time, and I think maybe I missed a few, but you can pick them up if I haven't. I also wanted to show, and I'm sure everybody gets the free messenger, the Madison Messenger. And I think you guys have all seen on the front page, we had a local resident, let's see, Dick Redman, which is pictured left of the Mount Sterling, stands with Patrick Dunkley, a friend from the church who painted a farm seam on his garage door. So you guys know where he's located at. So I think that's really great. I think it's, you know, to show, yeah, and I noticed it too, but I just never seen it in the paper until now. So I noticed it driving back there. But it kind of gives a good story of why he, you know, had that scene on there, why they painted it. You know, it shows here just a little script of, he lived in the Green Valley of Arizona for a while, and you know, he noticed that this was something that he wanted to have painted on there. So I think that's great, you know, that they recognize that. So I have a copy of that, and I'll put it out there if anybody would like to see that. But that's village updates. I just have my financial reports to go over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as you guys can see, or that you have copies of the financial reports. Grab mine here.
I don't have any. That's
Okay, so let's look at the appropriations. So just to kind of give you guys an update of what I've been doing, you know, as the financial officer. You know, I'm in the process of closing stuff out. So obviously the auditors came on last Wednesday and, you know, helped me try to get some of my stuff caught up. And, you know, with that said, we also, again, I have not closed out for the year yet, for 2018. That has not been closed until what they call Hinkle notes. So when we do year-end stuff, I use a system called UAN, and there are some financial notes that I have to put on there. So with being under the physical emergency, they're going to make sure that I cross every T and dot every I, which I have. So I'm in the midst of probably about 50% done until they have time to review it and then send it back to me, and then I can ship it off. I also cleared out and closed out December 2018 monthly that you guys will have circulated around here. And right now, I also put in all the appropriations that you guys approved in December. So I put appropriations in, I put revenues in, and I also did the blanket POs and the super blankets. So I ask again, I don't know who the committee members are for finance. I just ask that, you know, I know it's getting late, maybe tomorrow.
That'll be brought up tonight.
If whoever those people are, if you guys can kind of get in contact with me, or I can send an email out tonight to see what's a good time for you guys to come in and sign the POs. Because again, we will be operating off of the super blankets and regular blankets.
I have a question. Are you ready for questions on the payments?
If you want to start with the payments.
Well, the $1,500 for Maasai, for what period of time can you recall?
Yes, so basically with Maasai, so let me give you a rundown on that. Okay, so Maasai is actually the testing vendor. And what they do is they don't, for cost savings, they don't mail me any invoices at all whatsoever. So these are emails. So what they do is every time we get daily testings, every time they pick up a testing every day, they send the bill out this next day. So it's not like they consolidate invoices. I get a separate invoice for that. So these would have been from anywhere from probably 2 to 3 weeks of their billings.
Almost a month then.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
that's my
it depends
question
on,
since you were there.
Yeah, because it depends on, you know, when council can get in here.
Yeah.
You know, my finance committee and stuff, because we only meet 2 times a month. So it all depends on where that lag lays. Now this time there's going to be a lot because I stopped payments on December the 10th.
Okay.
So yeah, the next meeting, I believe is on the 28th of January, you're going to have a lot of payments on here. And they're going to be for very large amounts. I also wanted to advise council too, is in the future, I would like kind of what I talked about in my work, and I'm sorry if I'm taking up too much time.
No, you're fine.
But in the previous work sessions that, you know, you guys had been involved in, I'm also going to be polling to you guys of all of council a PO, outstanding POs, which mean that even though we've went to super blankets and regular blankets, I still want you guys as council members to know if, you know, whoever's not or not on finance, to know where those blankets lie. So that will be an additional report, and I know that's a lot of reports to get, but I feel that you guys really need to see what's outstanding, what's already been spent, but it's giving you additional information.
Well, Courtney, with the new finance group, which I will have the papers here in a second, we won't have to come in as much to sign like we used to do.
Yes.
Yeah,
because we're operating on those blankets.
Exactly.
You will have less time to do that. Yeah. The only time that those finance members will have to come in is on those special POs. Okay? So yes, to answer your question, we'll start off with the payment listing, but yeah, that's for probably 2 to 3 weeks. Also, you'll obviously see your payroll. You'll see the Valtech. Best One Tires was a repair on the flat that we had. And again, these were approved by, you know, the council members on December 10th. So that's how far back we're at, okay? I just want everybody to be clear of how long these have been. You know, insurance, you know, electric, these are all kind of your reoccurring ones. And then of course you'll see on there, all the loans have been submitted for payment. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, so appropriations, and again, as I remind you, these appropriations, these are to match the month. So the first meeting of the month, like we've been practicing, is to reconcile with the monthly statement. Okay, so this is what you guys will be having to be passed around, what you always do. So these numbers are going to match what's on here. Okay, so your appropriations, I always look in the general fund. General fund, and we show that it was 96%, so we are way below. The auditors are very satisfied with, you know, what, you know, the finance team has, again, approved in, you know, reducing expenditures, as well as all of council. So I think, you know, my finance committee for that, because I think that's been very helpful in making sure that we stay within that 5-year budget. So let's go into water. Water, you'll see. That's 83%, so well below. Again, at this point, we should be at 100%. but we have about 20% savings on that. Sewer, we show that that's 80% as well, so 20% savings on that. I'm very satisfied with the appropriation status. Any questions on that? And again, you guys have had time to look at these, so stop me if you have a question. Revenue status. Again, I like to not only show you what has been expended, but also what has been gained. So your revenue status shows exactly how much money and what fund it was applied to. And again, you can see that it was definitely over budget. So we are at 122% of what we expected to have come in. It's very good for the general fund. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, next is the receipt listing. Again, your receipt listing is everything that's been receipted, so any money that come in, and those generally, a lot of these that you'll see, the Village of Mount Sterling, which is the sewer and the water payments, you've seen a lot of those. And the cable franchise, a lot of people like to watch cable, so that was definitely an increase at $14,000 compared to $6,000 what we normally get. Rita also came in, and our typical Madison County expenditure. Any questions on that?
I had a question on receipt listing, but it was for the month of December, though.
Yes. Yep.
I got it.
Okay. Comparison of budget and appropriated. Again, you will see this, and you'll see that the general is in the negative. Again, this is before. This is all for the whole entire year. But again, this is just what was budgeted. So all of our adjustments, our fund adjustments that we've done, again, only for the whole system of 2018. This is just what was budgeted, what we forecasted or projected that was going to be.
So should January be almost in
Yes.
a black?
Yep. Yep, it will be. And you'll see that on, and actually you can compare that to your cash summary by fund. So your cash summary by fund, there's your numbers. So we have a lot to be proud of. The only thing that we'll be working on, probably hitting the ground running, once I get myself kind of settled down, physically and getting some of my stuff, caught up, we'll be hitting the ground running on our best practices and clearing those items. So you'll see a lot of activity from the auditors. They'll come in here, and we will be definitely hitting the ground running on clearing some of those comments. And those comments are like, again, I hate to say it, records of keeping. That's not been a strong suit of the village for a very long time. So we will be making sure that we have a lot of policies. So a lot of what you're going to see from me and from the auditors is a lot of policies, writing paragraphs, writing and enforcing policies. Not so much the numbers. They're good with where we're at, and we have a lot to be proud of. So again, a lot of responsibility. There's going to be some responsibilities, and again, they have been named. So when we have this meeting, once I get with the auditors on when they want us to start, you guys as council members will have your responsibilities on how we're going to clear them. I'll have my responsibilities. Misty will have her responsibilities. And we should get those remarks cleared. There's a lot of them that have already been cleared, so there's a lot that we'll have a lot to check off. Okay? So a lot to be proud of, and I appreciate everybody's help. And again, we sit here at a 5-year. We were set for a physical emergency for 5 years. That's what it was projected out to be. So good information on that. Okay, so any questions on the financials? Okay, so the next is your bank reconciliation. I also have on here, and I'll read them off to you, the acceptance of the appropriation report, revenue status, receipt listing, payment listing, comparison of budget and appropriated, cash summary by fund, and then my RITA reports, which you guys all have a copy of those too. Again, those were from the last meetings. We've had 2 since then. And the bank reconciliation from December. But I will pass this around. Again, these will match your financial reports. Okay?
These ain't signed.
Yeah. On the motion, on the reports, the financials, Do you want one motion for all 5 of those?
And then I'll have you guys sign this around here too.
Or 6, whatever's on there.
I like that. So Lowell, motion first. Did you want to go ahead and ask for the second?
I'll give you the motion.
To pay the bill, or
Second.
approve?
Yes, I'm going to pass this around.
Okay, I need a second. Okay, David. Roll call.
All right, so let me, and I apologize, I didn't know where, I got to write these down. Okay, so Tom is not, okay, so Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
And then again, if I can pass this around, and sign that. Okay, and then yours.
I need to sign this?
You may if you like.
No. I don't need to sign that.
All right, and I think I'm finished.
You done?
I'm sorry. I
No,
wanted to
you're
make sure
fine.
everybody was fully
No,
understood.
I want to make sure you're completely finished.
Yes.
Okay. As you, council, will notice, the agenda has been changed. President Pro Tem David Timmons asked me if he could do a report during council meeting, being President Council, and I said, of course. It's called a council meeting. You're the President Pro Tem, so I don't... You pass it out.
Okay, I got this right here, now I got, wait, Tammy gets this, and I'll get my report ready.
Okay.
Thanks, Tammy. Tonight I got the new committee meeting groups all ready here, and I'm going to pass these out. Damn, here's yours. Can you give this one to Tom for me? Appreciate that. And here and there, I'll get these, pass these around. That's all the new committees. I hope we, I think they're all good people. So on each one of these committees, I've been on some of them in the past and stuff, and the mayor and I discussed about that, and I think we got the right people in the right committees here, and it's very interesting, each committee in, and like myself, this will be the first time I've been on the streets as a chairman, so that should be pretty interesting. And I think we should get there and everybody on the committees, and everybody worked hard on last year's committees, so I appreciate all the work, and I'm going to have reports from now on. And tonight I just hope we can work as a unit throughout the whole year. I remember what Abraham Lincoln said one time: a house divided cannot stand by itself, and sometimes I hope to see unity this year, and we get a lot of work done, and we've got a good group of people here to get the work done, and that's all I got to report with my committees and everything there. And so,
may I say something?
Okay, go ahead, Tim.
With all due respect, I have to decline the nuisance and abatement because it takes a lot of time. You know that.
Yes.
I have a couple sick parents and a lover that's terminally ill, and I don't want to. I cannot dedicate that kind of time to the nuisance.
Would anybody else be interested to be on the nuisance?
Well, I have to say about nuisance, it takes more physical effort, and I've had to spend more time on my own physical rehab, so I'm not really capable of being as active as the nuisance. I know how much Tammy and some of the other members went through, and that's not a good fit. I mean, just be physically right now, because my therapy and everything's increasing because I've declined lately, and so I can't commit to something where I can't physically put forth the effort. That I think this needs to go out and to look at things and to tag people and that type of stuff.
That's why I can't be on, because it's a hard time for me sometimes to get around. And
now that's me, especially this time of year.
Would anybody be interested? Bill, what do you think? Being mayor, could we appoint somebody, or?
Well, if no one volunteers, we'll discuss it later.
Okay. Okay.
But Tammy and Rebecca, no nuisance and abatement committee, right?
I'm not.
You declined to
Tom's not
serve.
Here, so.
Tom, well, he's not here, so. Okay, so we'll take it up. You can take it up with me later.
Okay.
It's all right.
We'll pick it up later then.
All right. But thank you for your report.
Okay.
That brings us to the mayor's report, and I do have a report. Excuse me, to answer the particular person that came in and couldn't understand why his water bill was so high and couldn't understand why, for instance, property tax wasn't applied to water and sewage. I had reached out to Jennifer Hunter before. This was back in June when we were arguing about all this money. And to my surprise, property tax paid from the village of Mount Sterling is approximately $1.2 million. We have a Mount Sterling 10 mil inside millage that we get $30,000 from. So you do the math. Out of the 1.2 million, we don't get half of it. We don't get a third of it, a fourth of it. We get 30,000. Then there's a thing called local government. We get 60,000. That totals 90,000 out of approximately 1.25 million. That's why water and sewage have to be self-sustaining. There's no other recourse. Now I will explain to you what due diligence is. We do get $60,000 from the state of Ohio from all the tax money that they take out of this town on fuel and gas and stuff. We get a one-time amount, once a year, $60,000. That's for our streets. People in other municipalities will tell you that's your problem. You need to pass levies. That's what we do. That's how the fire department, the EMTs run. They pass levies. So that's to answer that gentleman's question. The next thing. We have, I'm sure you've all heard that there's a Dollar General going in town, out across the street from Whiteside. We are in discussion with the company and the township and the county engineer about running water. Months ago, we promised you that we would never stop trying to lower your water bill. And that's what due diligence is when it's flowing around this council chambers. It's negotiating to get more water sold, to relieve some of the burden put on the community, because 4 years ago the administration would not do their job and increase it like they were supposed to. That's one thing. The second thing, we've contacted a dairy farm outside of town that uses a tremendous amount of money and to sell water at the dairy farm out there. We're in discussions with the owner of the dairy farm. He has 1,080 head of cattle that he milks on a 24-hour rotation. He wants to double it. So we're always looking, and I mean her and her, they're always looking to get rid of water, to sell more water. We sold water today to a construction crew. I had a meeting today with Wendell Beachy and his engineer. As soon as weather breaks, they're going to start on a housing development out behind the Family Dollar. We'll have hookup prices, plus we'll have approximately 17 new homes using more water. We're in discussion with Norcor Steel Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Our community is in the running for a steel plant. Thank goodness that someone who grew up here and did well, made connections to the right people, and put us on the list of finalists for a steel plant. This is a steel plant that hires 400 people. And what sold them was the fact that we have a brand new water plant. That was the most critical part of the things that we had to offer. It was the fact that we have a brand new water plant. We have reverse osmosis water. We have a railroad going through our community. We have electric power just several miles out of town. We're located next to a freeway. We have 500 acres of land, flat land, that they'll require to buy, and possibly 1,000 acres. So we're always thinking, we're working every day. Besides their regular duties, we're always looking on a way to fulfill the promise that we would try everything in our power to alleviate some of this debt that the community incurs every month on a water bill. Is there anything you want to add to my report? Did I cover?
Just that, you know, when he refers to, you know, things that are coming, again, that doesn't mean that decisions are being made at his level. So again, these are the ideas that have been presented to him, and when there is action that needs to be taken, that's action of council. So again, there's nothing that's agreed upon. There's no waiving of this. There's no promising of this. This is all of people reaching out to the mayor in regards to these.
And that's the mayor being transparent with you all, because that's what it's all about, transparency. I was asked the result of a meeting that that my president of council last year had, representing the village of Mount Sterling, with the county commissioners, I understand. Do you have a report of any?
Well, that was one that actually I did not initiate. Somebody signed my name up to speak there.
Okay.
And that was back probably late spring, early summer.
Yeah, in the summer.
But it was at someone else's request.
Okay.
As part of the county who put my name on the agenda. So it wasn't my initiative to speak there. I just was following the guidelines that were given to me,
okay,
and complying with what was being asked of me by the person.
Okay.
So I went to that meeting and just spoke of, I did not realize that I'd be speaking for one thing. I thought I was going to be more in attendance, but when they asked about Mount Sterling, obviously I felt very optimistic. I knew that we had a lot of challenges ahead of us, but I felt that we were, what I told them is that I felt we were resourceful and strong, meaning I was not looking to asking the county for anything, that this is something that we could get through ourselves, meaning the water rates and things.
Mm-hmm.
And that through a lot of creative thinking and ideas, some of the different things that I suggested, but I said these are just ideas that I'm sure will be tossed out. One that's coming to mind, since I wasn't prepared to speak on this tonight, was like splitting out the land where the water plant is. That would be a nice parcel that maybe we could sell. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just one example, but a few of the different people there spoke up and offered. I think the county engineer is, and the commissioners were all very supportive. The county engineer sounded like he had some ideas. That's where I think the billing, the county doing the billing was the first thing tossed out, but that they would put together information and send it to the village and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of very general. It was very optimistic, but it was one that I was asked to attend, and
Very
I didn't
good.
realize I was going to be speaking.
And then it was brought to my attention that somebody met with Mr. Hinkle with the state auditor's office.
We went through this before, Billy, where Chris Cisco, from the director of the library, stood during roundtable and announced to everyone on council and you and that he was organizing a meeting, asked explicitly if anyone had any interest in attending to please let him know. Because Chris had been going through all of the OWDA loans and came up with, really it was a whole list of ORC related questions.
How did Chris get access to?
They're public records.
Oh, so he did that initiative on his own?
Huh?
He took that initiative on his own?
Well, he knew I had been looking at them extensively also, and obviously it's a concern for anybody who has a business in the village.
I agree, yeah.
So, you know, but as he was going through in his own, and sure, we discussed some of the different things because, I mean, it was all in the past, but trying to decide ORC. So he put together a whole list of questions about ORC compliance and that type of thing. He was the one that organized the meeting also with Mr. Hinkle, and even at the Financial Commission meeting, where it was getting closer to the meeting, he asked you directly if you were going to be in attendance. So as you know, in roundtable a month or two ago when you asked me about this, I reported the same. So
what was the result of the meeting?
We're still waiting to hear back on a few of the different issues. For example, one ORC issue, and I don't have the number in front of me, one of them had to do with, let's go back to 2013. That OWDA loan had to do with the drilling of the new well fields over at Mason Park. It was loaned $6450, as well as $800,000 or almost $900,000 of the design. Okay, did we get 3 design bids? Okay, I know stuff was destroyed, but also that would be in the form of legislation passed by council. We couldn't find any, you know, and not finding any record of it. What's the ramifications of it? We had, if I would have been given a heads up that you wanted to hear about it, I would have brought the list, because there was a list made of.
Just trying to tie up some loose ends at the end of the year.
There was about 4 or 5 different ORC adherence questions. One I found really interesting is that if you take, but they were going to look into it and once again get back to us, which they haven't done, and didn't refer, last time I heard, didn't return a phone call to Chris, and we were trying to figure out if it applied or not. If you take the amount of a loan, such the water loan, $9.5 million for a water plant, a utility plant, if that amount is, and you take a certain percentage, say 10% of the value of the village. If that loan is greater than 10% of the value of the village, that 10% figure might be wrong, but it should be close to that, then the voters should be the one to decide if they want to take out a loan that large. We were waiting to hear back on that because there was a determination, something about was that water plant really an emergency? So there was a few critical things that we were trying to find answers to.
Well, I think I saw an ordinance a while back where it was an emergency. One of the loans was declared an emergency.
Well, but an emergency meaning it was absolutely critical. This one was no longer functioning. Was that old water plant? It didn't have to do with emergency legislation. It was an emergency that we had to get this one built within a certain time frame, because this was totally malfunctioning, and there was different determination. That was I believe, an EPA determination.
Well, I know EPA required the village to either renovate that one or build a new water plant.
Well, but that's the question. Was there, because we've, you know, there are different questions like that that we were waiting to hear back.
And we've never got a response back from. Okay, well. So that was what was the subject was improprieties about drilling a well or something.
Not improprieties. It was
not improprieties. If questions were asked, like she said, you know.
a list of different questions just
Was it
to
an emergency to build a new water plant or not?
And it had to
Okay.
do with ORC adherences and things like that. And when you go through the different loans, it does bring up a lot of different questions.
Yeah, well, the reason I ask is so that all of council knows, somebody, if he's going representing council, he should give a report
To
on.
represent council.
No, I'm saying in the future, if he goes and has a meeting with the state auditor, he's representing this council.
Oh, I see.
She should come back and report to this council.
It was like trying to share information with you, Billy. Every time I tried to share it with you, you said you didn't want to hear it. So,
When did I
I'd be
say
glad to
that?
share it with, pardon?
When did I say that?
Yes, you did, Bill.
I haven't talked to you. You haven't talked to me for a month.
What you're bringing up is prior to a month ago.
Yeah, it
The
was.
Hinkle meeting, the commissioner.
I was advised by
The
appointed.
loans, all of those over time.
By a lawyer from the Attorney General's office was right here, and I told him that I was invited to a meeting with Hinkle. And he said, "You're not going to meet with anybody. The auditors got it covered. They're doing their thing on their own. You're not going to see Hinkle." That's my advice to you. Since he was my attorney, I didn't go. So I just wanted to make sure that, that everybody was updated. Now that the years began anew and we can all start fresh. So with that said, I guess we don't need to do committee reports. We just found out who's on the committees. Finance chaired by Mr. Anderson. And Becky Martin, David Timmons. Water, wastewater. Becky Martin is the chairperson. David Timmons and Lowell Anderson. Streets. David Timmons, chairman. Tammy and Tom. Fire, Tom Ward. Emergency Squad, Rebecca Burns. Pleasant Township, Tammy Van Sickle. Parts and Rec, Becky Martin's the chairperson. Mr. Anderson and Dave Timmons. Planning zoning is handled by Fayette County. Record retention, Mr. Anderson, and we've got to get busy doing that soon. And we had a nuisance abatement committee, but now we have a committee of one. And I'll take that up with with you tomorrow or this week sometime. Block Watch, Tom Ward.
Tammy, since you are now the Pleasant Township representative, I was doing that before, and I do want to let you know that next Monday they're going to have a meeting, even though it's a holiday. It'll still be at 7 o'clock.
7.
Next Monday's a holiday?
Martin Luther King Day.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. So, you can't, that runs us into ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2019-01, an ordinance accepting the 2019 estimated entitlements from local government fund. That's what I just told you all about. That's that big check we get from Madison County. I'd like to declare this an emergency. I'd like a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance 2019-01.
Got that motion?
Thank you. Second.
Second it.
Thank you. Roll call.
Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
I would like a motion to place this on first, second, third reading.
You got it.
Thank you. Second.
Yes.
Thank you. Vote.
Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
It's already been voted on.
Discussion after, right, no discussion. I need a motion for passage of ordinance 2019-01.
Have that motion?
Thank you. Second. Thank you. Vote.
Question. Do we have an estimated entitlement yet?
Yeah, it's included in your resolution.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'll look it up.
It's right here.
Oh, that's where it was.
Vote.
Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
Now I need ordinance 2019-2, an ordinance approving estimated revenue resources for the year 2019 and declaring this an emergency. You all understand that? Do you want her to speak for a minute? No?
You can.
We good?
Right.
I need a motion to suspend the rules.
Have that motion.
Thank you. A second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
I need a motion to place this on the first, second, and third reading.
I'll give you that.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you. Vote.
We have discussion.
Yes. Yes. Before we vote, I'm sorry, I messed up the last time. Before we vote this time, does anyone have a question about this particular ordinance? Everybody good with that? Okay. Vote.
Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
I need a motion for passage 2019-2.
I'll give you that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Vote.
Tammy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Lowell?
Yes.
And Rebecca?
Yes.
Thank you. We have ordinance 2019-3. This is an ordinance naming the alleyway across the street beside Mr. Adams, between Mr. Adams and Gazebo Park, to name that particular alley Timmons Way. And we have to do this by an ordinance, and we should do it by emergency so we can get that up.
I'll give you that motion.
Thank you very much. A second, please. To suspend the rules. No second?
Am I allowed to second?
Of course you're allowed to second.
Okay, I'll
What are
second.
you
Now
talking about?
discussion.
Now,
This is to suspend the rules.
this is to suspend the rules.
Okay.
That's all it is.
May I ask why you
Vote.
want it to go on
Pardon?
for an emergency? Why you
Pardon?
want us to suspend the rules on this?
We
I mean, I
wanted to
just
put
know
it
that
up
we
by a
suspend
certain.
a lot of rules and do a lot of emergencies for stuff, and I didn't know if you really consider
I
this
totally
an
agree with you.
emergency or not.
I totally agree. We promised last year not to do this, but
Right.
we find ourselves doing it. Now, a lot of it, the money thing, is because of the auditor. It's not
I can
us.
understand that, but I'm just saying on this.
And I understand. There was something said about a holiday coming up.
Memorial Day. But this was a recommendation that was given during a, was it during a work session?
Work
or a-
session.
Now,
Yes.
don't quote me on it. I don't know if it was a special meeting or something, but everybody was in, there was a roll call that was taken.
Yeah.
That Mark would prepare the legislation. That was the only thing that was determined during that meeting.
Yeah, I think we had a gentleman, Mr. Mason, came to council months and months ago and recommended that we do this, name that little alley behind the Memorial Park there after Mr. Timmons, being that he is the most dedicated veteran from Mount Sterling. And it was just something done out of, honor and respect, and something, unfortunately, that got lost in the shuffle and didn't happen for months and months and months. So I did bring it up at a previous either council or work session back in early December. At the time, I wasn't even sure if it, what kind of legislation it called for, and we took a vote then, and everyone, voted.
I don't see a
in.
problem with the actual legislation. I'm saying, come on, we passed too many emergencies.
Yeah, especially, and I agree.
The money, I agree.
Can I read a letter that was sent? That could
Sure, of course you can.
This was sent in November of 1945 to Sergeant James I. Timmons and Max Eugene Timmons. For you who answered this call of your country and served in its armed forces to bring about the total defeat of the enemy, I stand in heartfelt thanks of a grateful nation. As one of the nation's finest, you undertook the most severe task one can be called upon to perform. Because you demonstrated the fortitude, resourcefulness, and calm judgment necessary to carry out that task, we now look for you in leadership and example in further exalting our country in peace. Signed, President Harry Truman, President of the United States.
Thank you. Okay, I'm assuming I get to,
Well, you have a motion.
I have a
first
motion
by
to
Becky
suspend the rules.
And seconded by David.
Seconded by David. Now, are we done discussing that particular motion? Okay, vote.
Tammy.
No, I'm not doing emergency.
David?
David.
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Lowell.
No, I will not vote to suspend the rules.
Okay.
Rebecca.
No.
Okay, we can do it on 3 readings. We can do it on.
Can we do the first reading tonight?
You have a motion. You have a motion to put it on first reading.
Yeah.
I'll give you that motion.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to put this particular ordinance 2019-3 on the first reading.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. Vote.
Okay, I apologize. There's a lot of stuff I've been writing. Okay, so first motion for the first reading, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Dan, Rebecca.
Okay, so Becky got first. Okay, Rebecca second. Okay, roll call, right? Is that
You have a second.
Right.
Rebecca.
Yeah, I did.
Read the motion.
Pardon?
The motion is to place this on the first reading.
First reading. 2019-3.
And Becky first, and then Rebecca second.
Vote.
Tammy.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Becky.
Yes.
Lowell.
Yes.
And Rebecca.
Yes.
Okay, very good. We get that. We'll get that sign up. That runs us into roundtable. If no one's got anything to say, that runs us into adjournment. Oh, speak up, quick.
Thank Chris Cisco from the library. I had the opportunity Thursday to swear in Miss Pat Baines to the board at the library. So I just wanted to thank him, and that was really enjoyable to swear her in and welcome her to the.
Oh,
so,
you swore.
I swore Pat Baines in over at the library board.
Oh,
Thursday.
You swore her in? Did you?
It was nice. Point.
That's good. It's a good library. Good group of people over there.
I have something too.
Oh, okay.
I just want to address a couple of things that have been touched on throughout the meeting. I'll try to keep it kind of short. I know we're running long. I had a village resident. There was a little bit of back and forth on Facebook with accusations. As you heard throughout the meeting, people are being rude. I mean, it's not okay, Courtney, that you've been spit on. It's not okay that people have been cussed out over this water, you know, raises and things. But in lieu of getting in a little Facebook feud, I just bowed out, and I did want to address a resident that point blank asked me some questions, so I did not want to ignore her, so I wanted to reply. She asked me to please set the record straight and give details on what's been done in an attempt to fix the water rate increase and plant situation. And then she also asked me what is the misinformation I was alluding to on Facebook. So just for all of you, if you keep up with our meetings, or if you came to the town hall meeting, you're probably aware of most of this, but of course all of council, not half, all of council has looked into things with the OWDA, who issued the loans, and and to assure that the loans were legal and justified. The state auditors and investigators are 100% aware and involved and apprised every bit of information involving the water plant, the loans, the engineering, the operating cost, and the debt repayment. As you know, environmental engineering did a complete analysis and a rate study. We had Frank Leone here to explain fully what happened and where we had to go in the future. The county prosecutor has had a visit, as you've heard, from council members, and as well as the county commissioners have. So everyone's aware. We've had several articles in the Columbus Dispatch on 11/30. The Dispatch wrote that council members at the time of the loan have said they recall few details of the water deal. And then on 12/10, Chris Sisko, director of the Mount Sterling Library, met with the prosecutor and Ohio Auditor's Office. This was in another Dispatch article to see if we acquired competitive bids. Rebecca was talking about this for contracts and if procedures and all the legalities and loans could be voided or reconstructed, not eliminated. I know Rebecca is trying really hard to, as well as every other council member, is trying really hard to find some sort of alleviation for all that debt. And we've given you, the mayor, administration, and every council member has given our word to you that if and when this thing that ever presents itself, we would pass along those savings to you. In another article, Frank Leone talked about turning a burden into a benefit. If a new high-use water source such as housing, subdivision, brewery, or manufacturer could be found, it could end up becoming a good story with patience and time and a plan. We now have a resource. We just have to figure out how to monetize that resource. And then Billy gave us his report just a few minutes ago, which is super exciting, of all the different people that are looking at us and looking to possibly, you know, make deals and alleviate some of that water burden for all of us. All of us are affected. You know, council members are affected too. Some of us doubly that own businesses and have a home here. I know there's been lots of suggestions, such as bottled water, the cows, you know, everything that Billy just told us about. But I also wanted to let her know that, you know, there's a lot of suggestions floating around, just disband the village, just file bankruptcy, those kind of things. Those wouldn't solve anything. The debt would still have to be paid. I encourage everyone to go back and watch Environmental Engineering's report on our website, where he explains and breaks everything down. And I do want to really quickly tell everybody how much we have worked just from the 1 year that I've been on council to become fiscally responsible. You heard about all the savings and ideas from Courtney's report. We have reduced our village employees from 6 to 3. In 2018, we came in and we had to withdraw raises of nearly $20 per hour spread amongst those 6 employees that were given without authority, and we had to withdraw those. And that was a hard decision, and that probably hurt those families, but we had to do it, and we did it because we care about the community. Our previous water clerk made $25 an hour, and she had another water clerk with her that made $16 an hour. Our current water clerk only makes half of that $41. And these are all public records. Our previous fiscal officer made $35 an hour. Our current fiscal officer makes $7.50 less than that an hour. Our previous village administrator made $65,000 a year plus benefits that raised him over $97,000 a year, and we've eliminated that position. Unfortunately, we've passed all of those duties on to Courtney, and she doesn't get compensated for it. She actually makes less than just the fiscal officer did that came before her, $7.50 an hour less, and then she has a job of a whole nother person. And then another thing that's really I want to really point out, when was the last time you knew of a mayor who got out for $78,000 a year, which is $650 a month, which if you do the math, 40 hours is a short week for Billy. That's $3.75 an hour. And you see him out there plowing, you see him out there sweet streeping, you see him out there mowing. I don't remember any other mayors that did that. For $3.75 an hour, he's out there on the weekends too. And you know, the last thing I want to say in closing is the divisiveness amongst council, amongst the community. You know, it's a new year. We need to put it behind us. We even have divisiveness over prayer. It's not, I hope. I'd like to ask all you council members, I mean, it's been accused that 3 of us are blocking 3 of you from trying to save the village money. I mean, do any of you feel that way? I don't feel that I've been blocked from any of you from expressing my views, and I hope none of you feel that way either. You know, I just want to, you know, move on. Last year is really frustrating being on council. There's even divisiveness over trick or treat. We got our names all called out, the 3 good guys and the 3 bad guys, and that's all bull. That's all bull. We all care about the village. And I encourage everyone to come together, help your community, be a volunteer, and there's nothing wrong with asking questions and not agreeing with everybody, but the divisiveness is needs to be put behind us. That's all I have.
Becky, I like what you brought up too. Many hot afternoons this summer, I mowed the whole lawn here. I'd bring that lawnmower down and just also the community. And,
I had some comments. I hate, you've done a good job with the abatement. It is a tiring, endless job. Once you think you've got something clipped over here, it pops up over there. So I warrant you, you had a good year. You did a lot.
Thank you.
Very good.
I'm very proud of you.
You did,
And you
Tammy.
committed.
Thank you.
I would
something
pat
else,
you on the back.
We have to be very careful when we're working and studying and that we don't bring up names. We can say a citizen or whatever, but once you start bringing in Mr. So-and-so said, you see what happens. And I don't mention names.
I
So
told you
that's
when you
something
took
else.
that job
And
how
when you
hard it was
mentioned
going to
Don
be,
Gordon,
didn't I?
Mr. Van Sickle will just chew me up one side and down the other, but he always talks to me afterward. And so I consider him my friend, and I've asked him to do things, and he's stood there and has done them. So I'm like, don't mention names.
Okay.
That's my
I'm just sorry that we couldn't fill that nuisance abatement committee tonight, but we'll work on it. We'll work on it somehow, somewhere. Any other comments? Huh?
I don't have anything to say tonight.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.
No, I've been the longest. Well, I've been in all 3 seats now. My 5 years. When on the 6th year on council, is that for the first 4 years I was here, then there, then here.
I have a comment though. I will talk to you about this too.
What's that? Did you sign the resolution?
When I brought up in the meeting on the first time when we brought up.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay. I'm going to go home now and get me some more tea.
You are actually 100% correct. That spitting is
Not okay. It's not okay. No.
So, I hadn't even thought of that.
Rebecca, you take
The
care
only
of
thing
it.
about putting Timmons in there